Looking into this portal, dug by long lost mortals, dreams of veins on gold.
Wow, does it stink. Well, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm stopping at an old mine that I don't think I've ever stopped at before and really looked at. It's called the Minnie May, and there's a couple parts to it. One above the new highway and one below the new highway. So let's go adventure around. This is kind of an impromptu thing today. I was not planning on this at all. I just went out for a quick drive, and on the way back I decided, hey, I'm going to stop and look at this mine that I've drove by thousands of times and never look at. So we're going to do that today.
Here's to the nameless mine, lost to the fabric of time, dreams, hopes, and fear from the ghosts of yesteryear. Inside we now explore, little left anymore, stray marks left on ribs and back. Pickaxe, oh, nails of yesteryear, nameless mine, nameless mine, oh, nameless mine, you're a window to the past, that's all we could have asked, oh, no, nameless mine.
So the old highway's right over there. Before that hillside right up there slid off and covered it, and they rebuilt the highway right above me. And I'm not sure where the road came across to this old mine. I assume right in there somewhere. You can see the new highway right up there. But this little mine, I don't remember. I just stopped here on a whim and decided to look at this. I think I've looked at it when I was a teenager, but I don't really remember it. Seems like there's like 500-600 feet of workings here. It looks like it was a shaft. I originally, every time I've looked at this, I thought it was a head frame. And once I got up close, this was actually an ore bin. I think there was a shaft right behind it there, I think. If I remember right, this had a vertical shaft on it, and I think this is it. Seems like it also had an adit or two, but I think the highway may have covered that when they rebuilt the highway. So we'll look around here a little bit. I'm seeing some interesting looking quartz specimens down here. There's really not much for artifacts. A couple of tin cans here and there. Metal box that's over on the ground there. It looks like an old toolbox or storage box of some kind. That's really it. But, you know, this mine is really easy to get to, so if there was anything to be packed off, I'm sure it was long ago packed away. We'll look around here and see if we can find a quartz vein or anything interesting. Looking at one of the dump piles here, this has got a lot of quartz mixed in with it. Some of it's kind of decent looking, might be worth crushing up, take a sample of it. But this mine didn't really have a mill of its own. If I remember right, they hauled the material right up that canyon was where the Macy mine was. And I think they processed any material that came out of this little mine. But I'm going completely off of memory, something I read probably 20 years ago. Looks like maybe a waste pile over here. We'll go take a look. I'm not sure this is a waste pile or just slough off the hillside. We'll go up here and take a quick peek. I'm not seeing anything so far. I'm just trying to keep from taking a tumble down into the water. We'll keep poking around here though. Well, I had about given up. I was trying to scramble up that pile down there. It's really wet, loose stuff today. Just spotted something red down there in those bushes. Probably something more modern. Anyway, I got tired of trying to scramble up that. I got a ways up it and gave up. Climbed around this little cliff, worked my way up over here, and really didn't think I was going to find anything. I thought this was just slough coming off the hillside, but lo and behold, looks like we've got a little adit here. I don't know if I've just never spotted this or forgot it was here, because it looks like it should be clearly visible from the old road, but maybe I just never paid any attention. I'm a little worried about this one. There's a lot of bones laying around out here on the hillside, so could be a cougar hole. I'm looking up here on the hillside trying to spot a vein, and I don't see anything up here, unless this is just a cross cut, which very well could be, because the shaft is around the corner over there, so this might be going in and cutting that same vein. I'm just trying to figure out how to get down there to it without breaking my neck. Unfortunately, my pistol's back at the truck, because I thought I was just going to walk down to that head frame, or what I thought was a head frame. Well, it already goes back further than I thought it would. Huge pack rat nest. I don't have much for lights with me today, just this one little light. Wow, does it stink. Huh, little dam built there. Pack rat? I'm sure there's one hiding in there somewhere. From the looks of the pile, I thought it would only go back about 10 feet. Oh boy. I don't see any vein material in here. Well, it doesn't go back very far, maybe 40 feet, 50 feet. This looks like it's either came in from up above or it's been backfilled. Really strange. That's the end as far as I can see. I do see right there. It looks like they did cut a vein right there. From down here, I can't tell what it is. I don't feel like crawling up through all the pack rat poop to figure it out. And there is a lot. Nice nest right there. Another one right there. Okay, well, we know where this goes now. Like I said, it does look like they cut a vein there. We'll go up above here and see if we can find one on the hillside. It's a little bit of a vein there. Not much. Little bit of quartz there. Okay. I wasn't prepared to do this today. I just went for a drive. On my way back, decided to stop and walk down here and look at this old mine. Didn't even bring a real camera with me today. Just had my phone. Walking up the hillside, I am seeing a little bit of material, some quartzy type material in it. So they must have spotted something up here that convinced them to dig that back in the hillside. Okay, I'm seeing something right over here. And here's another spot. They dug in a little bit. Oh, this ground out here. A lot of clay in it. I think I'm about 3 inches taller just walking through this mud. Keeps building up on my shoes. Ugh. Look at that. Oh, jeez. Okay. So they dug in there a little bit. So theoretically, this spot they dug in is only, what, at the angle it goes in, they probably could have met. This is just a slightly higher than that adit, which is right over the hillside. So these might have met underground, and that might be where that material's feeding down from. This is completely collapsed though. Here it is from another angle. Looks like it went back in the hillside that way. There's not much of a dump out here, so that all kinds of lines up. The vertical shaft, this, and the adit which goes in the hillside back there. So this stuff is no joke. So heavy it's trying to pull my slip-on shoes right off of me. So this is an interesting location to me to sink this shaft down. If the general trend of this vein is kind of that way, I'm not sure why they didn't move that way just a little bit, where you're not dug into this hillside and it constantly fighting this hillside trying to come down and fill your shaft in. It just looked like it would have been a little easier to dig that way a little bit and then go down, but maybe this is where the vein was prominent, so they just sank down on it and just fought this hillside the whole time. But it looks like that probably filled in quite a long time ago. And I don't remember, I want to say 150 feet vertically this went down, but I'll have to look when I get back near some books and figure it out. You know, it's been here a long time, as long as I can remember. We used to, when I was young, we used to drive on that highway, not the new highway. Anyway, I remember driving on that and seeing this as a young kid. And then when I started driving, I'd come and look around the Macy mine quite often when I was young. I don't remember ever walking over here though. I don't know why I didn't, but I just don't remember seeing this. So today was the perfect day. Pretty nasty weather up above us. It's not currently raining or snowing, but perfect day to come look at this, even though it's muddy as all get out. So there's the ore bin right behind me. I came over here on this hillside trying to spot maybe some of the vein material. I didn't find, I don't think, what they were after. I think it's underneath all that dirt right there. But what I did spot, it's kind of interesting. You can see a slight remnant of a quartz vein, a little stringer right here. You can actually kind of peel it off of there. Really interesting. There's another piece down in there that I found too, but I think the main vein is back that way in the hillside, and this is just a little stringer coming off the main vein. Just thought I would show you that real quick. You don't see those real often, at least not out in the open like that. I mean, you see them in rock underground all the time, but sitting out in the open where the other piece is slabbed away and just left that little sliver of quartz in there is pretty cool. Here's one of the cuts I did to build this road over on this side of the river. Always look at these things, seeing if perhaps they cut a quartz vein, but I don't see one in this one. So this is just above the highway. I remember this back, I think it was in the mid-90s, I want to say. Somebody came in here and either opened a new adit up or found one of the old ones and opened it up. They had it, a little operation going here for a little while, and then it just packed up like overnight and disappeared. And I think they purposely closed this adit back up. But we'll go up here and take a quick look. This is another one I've never really looked at. Some quartz mixed in here. Yeah, this is completely closed up. And the way these waste rock piles are all smoothed and semi-covered with topsoil, definitely looks like they did it as reclamation work. Probably closed this up at the same time. If anybody happens to know who ran this back in the, I want to say around 94, 95, let me know. I'd like to talk to them about it. Boy, there is all kinds of different rock here. Over on this side, almost looks like sandstone, but some kind of sedimentary rock. And over here we got basalt. Up there I noticed some lava rock. Well, this isn't just a little caved. This is a lot caved. I'm going to go up on the hillside above it, see if I can find maybe a remnant of a quartz vein. There's one of those little stringers like we saw down below, but this one has the other side still attached. A little bit of quartz there. And somebody piled a bunch up right there. This is up above where the old adit was. I'm finding these old rails hammered in the ground up here. There's one there, one right below me. There's a couple more scattered down through here. I think they were using them for anchors or for something. I'm not sure what. This one looks like it got pulled almost over. So they put in a new one. Yeah, those are in there. Well, I'm a ways up above it. And I kind of lost the float for a little bit, but I've picked it back up. There's a piece over there and some right there. So still exposed somewhere up on this hillside. So I walked up here far enough. I'm kind of in the clouds now. But I noticed a little cut above me, and I walked up here to it. It looks like the old timers come in here with a dozer or something, probably in the 30s. I made a cut in this hillside, maybe trying to expose the vein up here further up. We'll follow this along, see if it leads to anything. I mean, below me, it just comes out here. It just comes out here in dead ends. It's not a road. Well, it looks like, in fact, they did have Maybe a short adit in here. Definitely collapsed in now. Oh, great. More mud. I do see a little bit of quartz on their pile here. I see another pile up above. I think if you went right there and dug, you'd expose the vein right there. There's a little stringer vein exposed right over there. I don't know, maybe this was the guys in the 90s that made this cut up through here. Could be. This looks like it might be a little adit. It was an adit. Huh. I'm running out of daylight today. I'd like to adventure further up here and do some more looking. I see another cut. That might have been the road. I may walk that out on the way out. I'd like to look at this some more. I'm out of breath. It means I'm out of shape. Yeah, this was definitely a road at one time. I'm still betting maybe over that hill there's probably some more prospecting that happened. Well, I just come down that old road bed and it just disappeared on me. They had a road. It must have just been cross country through here. I see a couple fence posts or something driven in the ground down here. We'll go find out what that's about. Again, it's getting kind of dark on me. Well, your guess is as good as mine. No idea. But they did do a little working right here. I think I might see a road down below me. Maybe. Sure enough, here's the old road bed. You can just barely see it coming up through here. And it goes up. They must have just crossed that flat spot and then zigzagged up the hill on that cut they made. Well, thanks for coming along on the impromptu mine tour today. The Minnie May, I've driven past this thing hundreds, if not thousands of times and never really paid it much mind. But I'm glad I stopped. It's a little mine. Probably not a lot of production to it, but it's interesting nonetheless. All these little mines, it was somebody's hopes and dreams. It obviously didn't probably make them rich. They probably sank a lot of money into it. Didn't get a lot back out of it, but nonetheless, it was interesting to stop and look at it. I'm coming away with a lot of questions about it that I'm going to have to look up some answers to in my editing sequence. So hopefully I dropped some of that stuff in there as I was doing the edit. If not, well, we're just going to have a lot of questions. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next video. If I had been checker hunting today, I would have been doing pretty good. I stirred up a lot of checkers. Almost every bunch of them that flew up scared the heck out of me. Here's the slide that shut down the old highway. You can actually see the old highway where it came down. And it's underwater right now because when the slide came down, it made a dam across the river. But this whole hillside just came down. This wasn't a fast event. I've heard people say, oh, the whole thing just slid at once. Well, that's really not what happened. It was a fairly slow thing. You could watch it move. You could sit over there and see rocks tumbling down the hillside. But it wasn't fast by, like just a big hillside sliding all at once. It took quite a while to finally get to where it's at right now. Probably, I want to say 3 or 4 months from what I remember. It's called the hole in the wall slide. There's a wolf howling over there. So for a while, State Highway would keep the road clear of the debris that was coming down and open it for a while and then close it back down. That didn't last very long, maybe a week at the most, and then they just shut it down, let it do its thing, and all the road going to Richland and halfway had to be diverted over the Sparta grade, which is a fairly steep grade, not paved. So they had to quickly put some guardrail in and fix the road up a little bit. But anyway, that's the hole in the wall slide. And a complete side note, over on that ridge, it's covered in fog right now. There's some cuts up on that thing. And for the longest time, I didn't know what those cuts were, whether they were prospecting for gold, silver, or what those were. They were actually prospecting for iron ore. And they actually took, I want to say, 2 or 3 train car loads of ore and had it processed and got, some iron out of it. But that's one of the few places around Eastern Oregon that I know of that there's actually some mineable iron ore is right on that ridge.